guys, we're going to do something a little different on today's version of Floatplan podcast. We're going to give you a tour of a couple quintessential Northwest boats. It so happens they are both 57 Tollycrafts, built here locally in Kelso, Washington. Same hull. One is called a Walkaround and one is called a Widebody. So what we're going to do today is take a tour of what people in the Northwest like to see in their boats and how we use our boats. Now, it's not to say that a pilot house is for everybody. There is no such thing as the perfect boat. And this is coming from a boat guy. And Timmy, you can probably acknowledge there is no perfect boat. It's what boat is the best fit for you. But let's take a tour of the quintessential Northwest boat. Come on aboard.
Yeah, and which boat is best for your wife?
That's such a key component. You know, there's no boat in which the couple together doesn't make the decision. So we're down here on the south end of Lake Union today. This boat happens to be a 1995 Tollycraft 57 Walkaround. This boat has been lovingly cared for, upgraded, refit, reupholstered, recarpeted, and just about every system touched. And this is not a sales pitch for this video. It's just an idea of what you can do with a boat that many might consider a little bit older, but that it still pulls into a marina and people just stop and look because it has those classic lines that Ed Monk Jr. and Tollycraft were known for. You'll see similar lines in Ocean Alexanders. You'll see similar lines in some of the older Vic Franks from some of the best designers in the Pacific Northwest. But what we have here is a boat with a 17 2-inch beam. And the walk-around version of this boat, what that means is you have side decks on both sides and can walk fore and aft on both port and starboard sides of a boat, which is, for some people, a really nice feature. When we get into the walk-around version, the wide-body version, you'll notice that our side decks disappear and the salon opens up, and you'll see the big difference between the two, which you'll see as part of this podcast today. See, now you can kind of see down the side deck. You have covered side decks on the way down. Not every boat has a covered side deck, but that's what the walk-around itself means. Nice large cockpit in the back. So the term walk-around, it's kind of like a center console. You can walk all the way around the boat when it comes to the Tollycraft 57.
And pros and cons to that, right? The living room salon's obviously smaller in this, but yes, hanging fenders and moving around the boat's easier, right?
Yeah, you're right. So you only have so many square feet in a boat. So this, like Tim said, condenses the salon a little bit. And you have different arrangements in pilot houses. This just happens to be a Tollycraft. We also have Sunships, which were built up in Delta, BC. Great boats, great company. They're doing refits now and custom new builds. You have Nordland, who builds a phenomenal boat, has for years down in Tacoma. Then you also have Ocean Alexander, built in Taiwan, obviously, but Ed Monk Jr. designs of the same era, 54s, 58s, and 61s, similar. And you'll see a common theme through all of them and how they use their space. On the 57s, they tended to do a side dinette or banquette of basically a whole bunch of cabinets on one side for storage. Many of them that have been refit have pop-up TVs, but just a ton of... Is that what that is? Yeah, that's a pop-up TV. The controller's in the other box. Yeah. This boat was just sold, but then you have tons of storage everywhere. And some boats have access to the Flybridge from inside, like this boat. Some of them have inside and outside. It just depends on how the boat was designed. You know, as we move up into the pilot house, the raised pilot house, again, this is what people in the Northwest like. Just one of the reasons is because of the sheer number of logs that we have. You know, down in Florida, they don't have to deal with the debris in the water in the same way that we do. So being raised up and having a raised helm station, many times you put the dinette along in the galley in the pilot house. Sometimes you'll see what they call a galley up version, which is the galley up in the pilot house. Other boats, like the 65 Tollycraft and the 61s, they call it a galley down. So the salon actually has the galley in it. And then in the galleys, you have full-size appliances. But you'll see all sorts of versions of different types of refrigerators. AC, DC, Norcold. This happens to be Sub-Zero. You've got Sea Freeze. And then you'll see updated appliances, you know, Melee cooktops. Induction is huge right now, obviously, as that technology has improved. You'll see that in a lot of boats. Full-size ovens, sometimes gas, sometimes electric, like you see with this, microwaves, updated sinks and countertops. Then you've got things like garbage disposals in boats. You get all sorts. But pilot houses are extremely popular in the Pacific Northwest. And this is one of the reasons why the space, the utilization of every inch of space available, and it's designed for families. So you're cooking up here, you're underway. Someone's there having lunch, having dinner, sitting up in the pilot house, just really enjoying everything the Northwest has to offer in the scenery. Electronics on this boat. So there are some updated stuff. There's some that's a little bit older. You'll see some Furuno stuff. We see that in a lot of boats. That's the old monochrome Furuno radars. They just don't fail. It's just, people go, oh my goodness. And I say, well, there's a reason why some of the commercial fishermen still have them after 30 years. Same unit, still going. We had one client do a $1.5 million refit, and he put all state-of-the-art electronics and everything, big screen TVs, you name it. He left his monochrome Furuno radar as his second radar just because he knew it would not fail.
I love it. Should we go up?
Yeah, let's go up. So obviously stairs, different types of stairs. West bays have a little more curved staircase. And there's different ways to open this. This boat in particular had a custom hardtop put on it and a custom enclosure. And the last thing you want to do is look at me from behind, I know.
Yeah, they did a nice job on this.
Yeah, it's a neat boat. It originally had a soft top, and obviously that has been, this custom hardtop was done down at Northern Boat Company in Tacoma. They do a great job with boats and refits and repairs. We'll probably end up doing a podcast down there talking to Jason just about everything that they do and their boats and their services. Nice thing, you can fit a big whaler on. It's a 13-foot whaler on the back. And then
it's neat the way they did those tables too.
Yeah, so they can be little side tables. And now you're just sitting down and you got a place for people to have cocktails, or you can spin them around and then they can become a dining table.
Yeah.
Usually for a couple people. It is boats, so we do squeeze in, but you can easily get 4 people dining here, which is pretty nice. This boat is going down to its new owners in Portland, Oregon here fairly soon. It'll be fun for you guys to see the difference between the Widebody and the Walkaround versions. They very similar, but obviously going to have a few little differences between them.
Yeah, we're going to go over and see Rick and Kelly's sumo, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll go check that out here in a little bit. So Timmy, as you guys, this is one of the great things about the Northwest. There it is right there.
The float plane flying in.
Yeah, it's in the summertime, it's about every 15, 20 minutes here on the lake. Don't forget to look for Northwest Nautical Magazine in the back of your favorite Kenmore Air.
Oh, yeah. We got to get it right. It's Nautical Northwest, though.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you leave it to me.
No.
Don't forget to get Nautical Northwest in the back seat of your favorite Kenmore Air flight. What you'll see varying degrees of hardtops. This one happens to have a finished headliner to it, which is nice, and lights. And it takes a lot to build a hardtop like this. I think a lot of people overlook at what it takes. And when you're looking at boats, and Tim, you and Jenny and Jade and I we might have boats and enjoy them, but we're always looking. What are some of the things that you guys look for when you get for a boat for the Northwest?
It's a lot of what this thing has. We'd go a little bit bigger than this, I think, but that hardtop and the pilot house I really like. I know, if we both only boated in the summer, I think it would probably be a big Viking. Mm-hmm. So totally sport fish style and completely depart from anything that looks like it's from the Northwest at all. But there's a lot of time that gets spent in the shoulder season in the wintertime where this is nice, and a sport fish just doesn't quite have the space. It doesn't quite have the interior room. I mean, it's just... So I don't know. It's like everybody talks about all the time. There's not a perfect boat, I don't think, for anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, there's days I'd want to be on a 65 Viking, and there's days I'd rather be on a 57 Northern Marine. Mm-hmm. two really different boats.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you can't tow one behind the other.
No.
Which also brings into focus a change in what we're seeing with a lot of clients, including you. Inflatables are great, and a lot of us have them, but a lot of us are also towing now. So you tow your whaler behind your boat, and then there's an inflatable for the little stuff here and there, but the fishing and the reach that you can have in the opportunities you have towing behind, there's a little bit of a price to pay, and a little bit more thinking through it, and it's not just loading the tender up and going. So when you tow, you there's some steps and some additional things you do, but the rewards, the benefits of having a tow behind are huge.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you think about this summer, we'd leave Friday Harbor and could run all the way out around the side of San Juan Island, fish alongside a bunch of the commercial stuff, and then run back into Friday Harbor and process fish, and then Roach Harbor for lunch, and then back down to Friday. I mean, you can't do that in an inflatable that's on the top.
I made the mistake of right when we got our inflatable on the back of our boat. Mason, let's run over to Deer Harbor from Roach Harbor.
Ooh.
And about halfway through, Mason said, "Dad, I'm done. Let's go back." I said, "Well, we're halfway there."
Yeah.
So we continued. We got there, and it was not fun. The best one was when we were up in Desolation, and we were all going. Refuge Cove, I think is where we're going.
Yeah, we were going to Provision.
Yeah.
You put the whole family in your inflatable.
I put the whole family and the dog, poor Wilson, in that inflatable. And we leave. Let's just call it 11 o'clock. And we leave at 11 o'clock. We're halfway there. We've gotten our butts kicked. It's only a 2-foot chop maybe, but in an inflatable, 10.5 inflatable. Mind you, it's got a 30 horse, so we can get up and scoop, but still. And just getting beat up, and it's windy, and it's not rough at all. Here comes Timmy, right by us in the whaler, waving as he goes. I see Hudson looking at me, and Mason's, I could just see him longing. We finally pull up to Refuge Cove, get the dinghy tied up. There's your tender. And there you guys are up having a glass of wine already as we look all ragged and beat up getting out of the boat. But it all depends on your boat too. Your boat is also more well suited for towing than mine is.
And we have to manage towing. That's a pain.
It is. There's a plan. You guys have a plan every time you guys come in.
Oh yeah. Well, the police are out patrolling.
Yeah. Our good friends at Harbor Patrol, thank you for what you guys do. They have come in and saved, I can't tell you how many people over the years, and helped us. And we've had issues. They come right down and help us. And we'll probably do a podcast with them one of these days.
Oh yeah.
That'd be those guys are great guys. So as we traverse down into the belly of the beast, we'll just say staterooms. This is what families tend to like and couples tend to like. Because as you go down the companionway, a midship full beam master is something that people really enjoy. So as you get down in here, you get to see, sometimes you get a queen, sometimes you get a king bed. This happens to be a little more than a queen, but not quite a king. But then you'll see just some beautiful woodwork that you get in Tolly's. It's one of the things that separates Tolly's from some of the other builders. Just their woodwork, their layouts. Obviously, he's got a nice TV down here.
This little station, the Jenny getting ready station, is a plus too, yeah?
Yep. And what you'll see in a lot of the boats have been refit. They used to have big, huge kind of Hollywood lights here. A lot of people have updated that to obviously put a TV, still get a mirror, but it's not like you're prepping for a movie anymore.
Yeah.
But just an idea of what an older boat can be like. You can have an older hull, but have a newer feel to it.
Good size head in here too.
Yeah, nice walk-in closet and walk-in shower, and sorry, not a walk-in closet, walk-in shower, water closet.
Good space.
Yeah. Some boats have diesel heat, some have heat and air conditioning. Believe it or not, this was for the old TV. They used it for storage and for other things because we just don't need those TV cabinets anymore. But they'll repurpose that space. A couple steps up, full-size water, apartment-size washer and dryer, which is kind of nice to have on board. You have that. I don't. It is nice.
It is nice. The trick is using your water maker enough to actually run the washing machine.
Yeah.
Or being plugged into the dock and just stringing the water out.
So, full-size closets, which is nice. Lots of storage. These are cedar lined, which is nice. And then you get storage. Some boats will have an upper and lower bunk like this. Some will have side-by-side, like a 58 Ocean Alexander. They'll be side-by-side. West Bays and Tollycrafts had over-under bunks. Then you have access to your VIP forward with storage and all that. But like I said, give you a really good idea of what you can do with a 1995 boat. It does not have to feel 1995 inside. Updating countertops and flooring. Believe it or not, they use a fair bit of wallpaper in boats now. That can really change the feel of a boat. So that'll be our tour of our 57 Walkaround. We'll have the 57 Widebody next, and we can kind of maybe do a little comparison side to side and have a little chat about it, and just about what people look for in boats. And Tim, you can give them a little insight on what you guys look for on certain features here and there, and I can do the same.
Yeah, that sounds good. And while we're here, we'll look out the window and see if we can actually see the Irwin Yacht Sales sign, which I don't think we can.
I don't think we see it quite from here.
No, we can get I Love Sushi and 1001, but that's it. All right. Well,
and if you're down here, right underneath that 1001 sign, at the water level corner office closest to Fairview is the Irwin Yacht Sales office. Just come down and see us. Just say, hey.
okay, perfect. That's the boat.
Cool. Well, hello again. As you probably noticed, we are again on a 57 Tollycraft. A little bit earlier, we showed you the 57 Tollycraft Walkaround, and we're going to finish by showing you the 57 Tollycraft Widebody. Believe it or not, this is the exact same hull. It just shows you kind of what can be done a little bit differently with hull design and house configurations. And we are kind enough to be invited by the owners of this boat, Rick and Kelly, who actually do have Sumo for sale. And if it's something you'd like to see, just let us know. But the point of this whole thing is to show you some of the differences between styles of boats and even within the same size range. So Tollycraft 57 Widebody was one of the most popular ones they ever built. One of the reasons is you get a massive salon and again a massive aft deck, as you can see. The way that they did this aft deck was to fully enclose it. As we talked about a little bit earlier, the quintessential Northwest boat. So as you can see with what Tim's showing you, it maximizes the full beam of the hull to give you as much room as humanly possible in the 57-foot envelope. You'll notice just a little bit different from the Walkaround that Tim videoed a little bit earlier. So this, obviously there's a little side deck on each one, but this boat is designed to maximize the interior volume. They made this boat in a 53 and in a 57. Same hull, they just stretched it and made the cockpit larger. You'll see a lot of custom upgrades in this boat as well, similar to what you saw in the other one. What's kind of nice is you can tell the interior is massive. In fact, if you notice on the other one, it was a little narrower, L-shaped couch. Tim is literally 10 feet away from me, and there's still plenty of room. There's room for 2 chairs. And what Tully and Ed Monk did when they designed this boat was, how can we maximize the comfort that people have? You're going to see a lot of great features in this boat, a lot of custom stuff. And frankly, it's one of the probably most well-kept 57 wide bodies we've seen in quite some time, and definitely the nicest one out there on the market.
Yeah, we've been friends with these guys for years, and I remember when they did the settee in here and the carpet and all. I mean, it makes the boat, I think, look 15 or 20 years newer. With what they've done, the interior just is spot on.
Yeah, normally these boats come with a kind of a curved shape sofa, and what you do when you get a curved shaped sofa, you eliminate that corner seat because no one ever sits in it. Now you can actually flop in the corner, watch TV, and you have plenty of room to entertain. People can get by. No one has to get up. So if you've got 5 or 6 people just kind of hanging out in here, as we often get during when we raft up or anchored out or decide to have a few people aboard, people can just do their thing, hang out, get by, go up to the galley, pass through from the galley into here. So if you're preparing food, just push it past here. You can grab it. It's just a lot of nice things. And you'll see a lot of nice touches. And they've just loved this boat, cherished it, and lavished upon it. It shows. There isn't any system on this boat that really hasn't been touched. And this, again, is not to sell the boat, but one of the things that we wanted to bring up was sometimes you can get a boat that's considered older. A lot of people try to compare boats and cars, and yes, there's some similarities. They both have engines, they both take fuel, they both get you from point A to point B. But a 20-year-old boat is not considered old. Even a 30-year-old boat is not all really that old. Car is a different story, but fiberglass lasts, and if you maintain it, it can be basically like your house. It can be as updated and current, and you still want to keep a little bit of a nautical feel. But there isn't anything on this boat that would keep somebody from literally getting aboard and going.
No, and knowing these guys, I'd get on it and start the engines and go right now to Desolation without even thinking twice about it.
When I met Rick, we kind of went through things. It kind of just kept going. Oh yeah, I did this. Oh yeah, I did this. And literally, we went through every switch in this boat, and everything has been tested. And so you get a boat like that, and a boat that's well maintained. An older, well maintained boat can be a much better boat, and frankly, a lot less expensive than a newer, unmaintained boat. And then you get boats that have not had all the updates, and just kind of talking about market stuff and quintessential Northwest boats. Our boats up here tend to wear a little bit better than other parts of the country, but a boat that's been maintained definitely has some added value over one that hasn't been or updated. You would have to invest a lot more than what somebody is asking on a boat. So things just kind of take into it. But let's go through the boat itself, just like we did the other one. Just as you can tell, Tim's been rolling around the salon, and there's just so much room. It's so comfortable. So similar to the Walkaround, you step up 3 steps and you're in the pilot house and galley. Similar to the other one as well, they've updated countertops, updated appliances, and all that's done. They've updated cooktops. He actually did a kind of a cool thing here. So along with your Wolf cooktop, then you put a little cutting board right over the top. Make use of the space when you're not actually cooking. Again, a full-size oven, trash compactor, all the comforts of home. Under counter lighting, just everything is well kept. Antique. You just don't see cabinets like this anymore in boats. Unless you get a multi-million-dollar boat, you are not going to get solid cabinetry like you get in a Tollycraft. It's one of the reasons they hold their value, and one of the reasons why people keep coming back to them, the quality level that goes into these boats.
The dishwasher's a nice touch on this thing, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you, as a person that has to wash my own dishes, it would be nice to have a dishwasher. So nice big settee, similar to the other one's a little more squared off. There's a little bit more room, so they put kind of a U-shaped settee in this one. He's updated electronics, but just gives you an idea of what you can do with one of these boats. A lot of these boats have phantom screens on them too, especially when you get up north. To get to the pilot house in this boat is a little different. And if you remember the last one, the staircase was right where the electrical panel is on this boat. But with the Widebody, because they wanted to make the salon so massive, they have it so you go out the pilot house door and up to the pilot house. And we'll get up there in just a minute. Once you go out the pilot house, you can walk all the way around it, which is nice. All right, so the other thing you'll see in a lot of these boats are, along with updated electronics, bow thrusters are, while not absolutely necessary, they are very nice to have. These boats tend to have them, as does this one. Nice big, lots of places to sit and just relax in this boat. As you can kind of tell, this is why people like Tollycrafts. They're just comfortable boats. They are well built. They're designed to go out in open ocean. You can take this boat down the coast. In fact, it's even been to California and back, so capable. Again, one of the things that people love is a full beam master stateroom. What's nice about this one is the amount of storage you get in it.
Yeah, this is a tremendous amount more storage space down here.
The way
With
they
a way
designed
bigger
this
station, too.
one. Yeah. See, no two are absolutely identical. King size bed. Just open. Bank of drawers, nice big head, and again a walk-in shower.
You sure can feel the wide body space down here.
Yeah, isn't it nice? Being able to go to bed and have lots of space and get up and walk around it, and being able to make the bed. And I can tell you, as a person who has a bed in the V-berth forward, that it's nice to have a full walk-around bed. So much easier to make. Yeah, and Rick and Kelly have updated every system in this boat. So updated washer and dryer, updated carpet, updated LED lighting. They literally update everything to enjoy it, and someone else will get the benefit by all the work he's put into it for all these years.
They even put a new hot water heater in it a little bit ago, didn't they?
They did. It's I want to say a big 40 gallons. So
Yeah.
lots of hot water. You can take normal house showers with it. The guest stateroom has a pantry in it. It could also be turned back into a closet, but you want people to be able to have additional storage for long passages and trips. Get to the head in the shower from both the salon or the guest stateroom and the VIP forward. The engine room is spotless, as you can imagine. That's just how Rick keeps his stuff. And if you ever met Rick and Kelly, if you may meet them out there on the water sometime, just the nicest, easiest, most down-to-earth people. And easy to get to know, easy to talk to. This is what makes Tollycraft so popular. Why they're considered a timeless boat. And the 57 just has that additional cockpit and just the lines that really keep them classic. Not a bad slip either. See downtown from here.
Short trip to the fuel dock.
Wind might even push you there.
She's today.
All right, one of the things they did with this boat, they actually put a staircase, kind of a quasi-ladder, quasi-staircase, it's not perfectly up and down, to the pilot house, which is nice. Versus the walk-around, because you have the walk-around space, you don't get this.
Yeah, and that is really nice, I think, too, to be able to get people up and down without having to go through the salon and be in your space. If somebody's just going to come over and have a cocktail and BS with you for a little bit, and you're going to sit up top, it's nice to not have anybody tracking through the carpet and all that.
Come on up, Jimmy. So one of the other things you get again with the wide body, again a massive Flybridge. You can get 12, 15 people up here easy.
Yeah.
So cool. One of the cool things Rick did recently is he put a permanent bimini on it. And he used stamway material. This is all new in the last couple of years, which is pretty cool. And then he integrated lighting into it and sliders in the back. It's got a table, but then they put the helm off to one side on this versus the center, so it opens up a whole another. We've got a big family. It's kind of cool in these boats. This turns into another bed for people, especially in the summertime up in Desolation because it's warm enough. And a little bit of sun. This gets nice and warm, but then you slide the sliders open on the side, get plenty of airflow. But you can see why the 57 was so popular. I mean, just so much space, so much volume. Just a really good riding hull. Super good in a following sea as well. So just in general, these 57 wide bodies, and this one in particular, is probably one that you'll have a hard time replacing. There are some older ones out there that have not had anywhere near the updates. It's always the challenge is that you try showing people what it would take to get a boat into a similar condition, and it's significant.
So hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah, I mean, if
something like this,
someone wanted to buy one of the less expensive ones, they'd probably spend another $500,000 on top of what they purchased it for to get this. So, it poses. That's why when you look at boats, when you want to compare boats, you want to look at actual equipment. What is the value of the boat is not what the last one sold for. The value of the boat is what does it take to get a boat in similar condition in similar states. So it's the ever $60,000 question that you get from everybody. So, but that's what makes boats so fun. And there's different things that are of different value to different people. This boat poses a good value for somebody that wants a turnkey, ready to go boat. So, just cool, just fun. We love Tollycraft. As a former Tollycraft dealer, we tend to get a lot of the larger Tollys and know them better than most. So, pretty cool. Good boat. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the side-by-side comparison of 57 Tollycraft Widebody, 57 Tollycraft Walkaround on Floatplan podcast with Tim Boyle and Matt Maynard. Look forward to seeing you out on the water.